So, welcome to my wonderful exhibitors on this panel. We are doing now a panel discussion around exchanging our insights. We're going to talk about the topic of I don't have time, which is something that comes up for so many people. And we, as business owners, entrepreneurs, we hear this from clients all the time. So, let me very briefly introduce who we have on the panel. We have Joanne Brooks on our panel right here. Joanne, founder of Her Transformation and the circle builder behind Navigate Biz. We have also Demetra, health and well-being strategist, clinician, coach, mentor, and founder of the Mind Your Health. And then we have Lanier Johnson, who is a leading global LinkedIn authority. Lanier helps professionals, experts, and authors get seen and found on LinkedIn. And of course, we have Peter Abrahamson with us, psychologist, coach, and mentor, and weightlifter at Better Lives, creating better lives for his clients, and myself, Sigrid Cast, marketing and visibility strategist. And let's get into a discussion on the I don't have time. I don't have time. How often do you hear that, Peter, from clients in your field of expertise?
How about every day? Um, they ask me, can you teach me some time management tricks? I don't think you can't manage time. Time will do what it does. We've got 24 hours and exactly the same minutes every one of us. So it's about how do we manage ourselves to spend the time that we have in the most purposeful way. And if you were listening to Dimitra earlier, she said, finish your day before it starts by getting clarity at the beginning of the day, how you want it to progress. I'm also saying that you should start your day before it begins. Um, by that, I mean, when you come to the end of the day, do your to-do list about the stuff that you want to do tomorrow, because that takes your mind away from churning over all evening, all night. Oh, I should remember this, I should remember that. And you stay awake all night not sleeping because you must remember to not forget, and you fall asleep and you forget anyway. So you go over the same old ground the next day. So what I don't like is doing the same thing twice. And it could be just the thinking process twice, or actually doing things twice because you did a shoddy work because you were already on to the next thing before you finish the one that you're at. So for me, it's a lot about staying with one thing at a time as much as is possible. I know we all get the distractions that we talk about a lot. It dings here and it dings there, and a phone call comes in and so on and so forth. That's part of life. But even I have to structure myself sometimes. Say, "Look, Peter, just do this thing, finish that. The rest of it will still be in the queue by the time you've done this one. But then this one won't come back and need redoing or fiddling around the edges with it again." So that's one of the things I would recommend is you get a hold of what is tomorrow going to look like, and then you can follow Dimitri's example of saying, well, okay, now it is tomorrow. How do I want to make sure that this happens? Something I also want to throw in here is we have bad habits. Yes, we're busy. Busy doing what? And if we analyze what we are busy doing, is it actually taking us anywhere, or are we just on the treadmill? So for me, it's about replacing bad habits with good habits. You can't say, well, don't do this anymore. You can't replace something with nothing. It leaves a gap. It creates an urge to fill the void with something. So we have to decide, okay, this is what I'm doing and it doesn't help me. What can I do instead that is helping me either feel better, relax, get some work done, whatever it is, as long as it's serving you well rather than not. I think that's my penny's worth for now.
Yeah, thank you. That's excellent. I like how you say, yes, you're busy, but what are you actually busy with? And I think often that comes down to all this pinging. You're so busy, or people are so busy with following, oh, it's dinged here, there's a new email, there's a message comes through, and the phone is ringing. I'm so busy
And
attending to it all.
and we have to learn to say no.
Yes, yes. And I like that you said focus on one thing at a time, because I do know I've got 27 different windows open on my computer when I do some work.
Join the club.
The first one to admit that. And it is really easy. I want to send a message off. I've written it all. I jump into the next window, and 3 hours later, I notice that I never sent that message off. So it's very important to think about. I don't have time. Well, like you said, we do have time, but it is how we use it, I think. I want to bring in Linnea, if I may, and talk about I don't have time. Linnea being the authority on LinkedIn. A lot of people using LinkedIn, but possibly coming up with the phrase, well, I have to hand over my post writing or scheduling because I don't have time. Or they may go into, oh, now with AI, I can do it faster. Linnea, what are your insights on that in about around I have no time?
First of all, I'd like to go back to what Peter was saying and give you the stay with one thing perspective from LinkedIn. And Peter's absolutely right with that. I mean, we have all been on social media and gone down rabbit holes, found ourselves an hour and a half later still watching shorts on YouTube and having achieved absolutely nothing. And so it can happen with LinkedIn too. You can just go down rabbit holes. So, from my perspective, I think it's important when you're on LinkedIn and you have limited time to choose what that one thing is going to be and then stick with it and get the job done. And that way, even if you still have 27 tabs open, so good, those messages that you were wanting to send will have gone. And so, I think it's very important, and I'm telling myself this as I say it because I have a tendency to wander off down side roads as well. So, I think it's a critical thing if we are short of time on LinkedIn is just to do one thing. That might be sending out direct messages, might be sending out 5 new connection invites. Just do that one thing, and then you can go, you can tick it off your to-do list and put it back on again there for tomorrow, so you end your day before you start. So I think that's one thing that would be really helpful. Now, and you asked about using AI when it comes to LinkedIn for helping you with your content. Now, I do see this as having value, but also, again, to paraphrase Peter, we don't want to be replacing good habits with bad habits, or replacing bad habits with nothing that else or not a good one. And if you're going to be using AI to create your content, you want to be doing it well. That doesn't mean asking it to write you a post on XYZ topic, taking what it gives you on its first output and posting it on LinkedIn, because that simply will not get you the visibility, the credibility that you are looking for. Whereas if you take that and go, okay, well, how can I improve this? And either work through it yourself or ask AI to improve it. Maybe say, all right, but I like this. I want you to expand on that some more. And this is my personal story about that particular point. Can you add that in using my words based on my brand voice guidelines, and ask it to redo it and come up with something that sounds more like you? Because the main problem is everything seems very bland when you use AI. And of course, there's still quite a lot of, I would say, animosity around people using it for content, and particularly on LinkedIn, where authenticity is hugely important. But the thing that you can be sure about with AI is that it will use very good copywriting skills. Now, if you are a good copywriter and your content is good to start with, then it will sound very similar to what the AI is going to produce. But if that is not exactly your strength, and a lot of people aren't natural writers or professional writers, of course, then it's more difficult. And so that's where you need to use AI to help you to sound like you, to get across your message really well and really consistently. So yes, I was a skeptic about using AI for content on LinkedIn. Now I'm a fan.
That's fantastic. I think there is this one component to really remember. Yes, it can really cut down time by creating something very quickly, quicker than I could. But I think the editing is an important component. And until you have really trained your AI to get your voice in as close as possible, then the editing can take up a lot of time. And so you're still going to be saying, I don't have time, because the editing took as much as had you written it in the first place. Great points, Linnea. Thank you. I want to jump over to Joanne at this point, even though we heard a lot of references to Demetra. I'll come to you after. Joanne, I'm curious to hear from your support, the people that come into the circle. Do you have the I don't have time in a big way, or is that not so much with people that choose to come into the circle? Is there something different about those?
Oh no, it's the common narrative. It is something that everybody does. And of course, there's a lot of people in my audience who are wives, partners, mothers, all those sort of things. And we get very good at the procrastination piece, not managing our time very well. Oh, I'll just go and put dinner on. Oh, I just have to go and pick up the children from school. All valid, all need to be done, right? But is it that we're going to go and do those activities, or I'll put the kids into another ballet lesson or another type of thing to distract me because I don't want to pick up the phone and make that phone call or write that post. So I think my goal is to have women understand that, yeah, all those things need to be done. Now, I'm very blessed. My daughter is now 28. She's long left the nest, but that was the case, and I had no AI to support me in that time. There's some mature ladies here. I'm sure you appreciate that and understand all the juggling we did. They didn't even have mobile phones, so we had to find other ways to get hold of them. But it is understanding the priority of the day, and as I said earlier, it's about taking a breath and working out, what do I want to get done today. So some of the things that I do, because whilst I have the circle, I do consulting work and all those sort of things as well. So there's lots of moving parts. So I find what works for me is to block out my calendar. And it becomes a block out for me time, so nobody can book me in. And then I use a timer on my computer. And so I allow myself so many hours or minutes or whatever it is for that particular task. And it makes a little noise and comes up on the screen. And I have to give myself permission to accept that maybe I haven't quite got the task done and I need to reschedule it and put it in my to-do list this afternoon for tomorrow. And that be gracious with myself to go, actually, I got some stuff done. And I think this is a big thing in the mindset piece, and maybe Pete, you would agree with this, is that we have to accept that we can't control everything, but we can use best practice to get things done, but also accept that you may not get it done in the time that you've allocated, but if you can block it out. Look up, for example, for the LinkedIn piece, I have an hour blocked in out of my day every day to do LinkedIn activity, and whether it's commenting or posts, and I have another 15-minute window in the afternoon, and it's blocked out. Nobody can book it unless I allow it to be booked in. And so that's things that I've done to make that work for me.
Yep. So I don't have time is the topic that we are discussing from our various backgrounds, and I think the I don't have time. You've clarified that really nicely, Joanne. It is what we make of it, and if we don't want to make the time and give that time away, we must block it out and be very strict on that. Demetra, I'm really curious. I have no time. When you shared earlier your insights around the framework that you offer, I don't have time. Does that come up often, particularly with professionals around the eating regularly, nourishing the body? Tell us a bit about that to get started, please.
Yeah, well, I don't have time is on everybody's, talk like daily. So I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to, to help somebody. And yet, sometimes we say yes all the time, because we may feel guilty about, not pleasing someone or not helping someone. And especially in the area that I work in, like as a healthcare professional, and with doctors, we're just like used to, I need to do everything. I need to help everyone, but then we don't have time for ourselves. So I think time, we all have the same time. We all have the same 24 hours. And it is, I think, more our relationship with time, and management comes into it, as Peter mentioned before. So it's how we experience time, how we prioritize. And I think it's still part of our mindset. Um, and multitasking, we tend to do like we tend like to get like busy and busy, busy, because busy is the thing these days. The more busy you are, the more, I don't know, people see you differently. But is it like just busyness? Or just like real busy? So multitasking, trying to do like a lot of things all the time, at the same time, it doesn't actually work. Although people are sometimes they're very proud of it, to say that they are multitasking. But however, the brain, the way that it works, it cannot really multitask. So for example, if you start a task and you concentrate for 15 minutes, and then you had like those and you hear those notifications, or you get distracted, and you try like to send like, oh, a quick message, or it's only going to take me a few seconds to reply to this email kind of thing. Then you take yourself away from the really important thing that you may be doing, and then it takes the brain about another 10 minutes or so to refocus on what you are actually doing. So you're creating like a real model inside your head. So multitasking doesn't really work. With the distractions that are really open loops. I don't have time. As Peter said before, what do you actually do? So sometimes I tell my clients, do a time audit. Where's just jot down every single thing that you're doing to see where your time is actually going. And what you're doing at the time, is it actually draining you or energizing you? And just try to jot down what are your default time wasters, like the scrolling, the procrastination, or the perfectionism. You have to get something right, but then, you get like all muddled up. So I think I don't have time, or the time perception. It is a mindset thing, and it is a relationship with time. And rather than like management, because we manage it better when we understand our relationship with it. So time blocking, I do this a lot. Totally agree with Joanne. It does work because it helps you focus. And for example, I don't have a to-do list. I've got a focus list. So I pick like the 3 most important things that I have to do for the day. That's it. You can't have like 25 items to do in the day. You won't get through them. And then, by the end of the day, you'll start beating yourself up because you haven't finished the to-do list. And then you start like, it's a vicious circle. So yes, I don't have time. It is a mindset thing, and it's just we have to get better at getting a better relationship with it.
Recognizing that that is a mindset thing. I totally agree with you. I used to have lists, and I was so upset by the end of the day that I didn't get through the lists. I transferred them to the next day, and I was getting almost anxiety over it not getting through. These days I do much more about, at the end of the day, tap into what is it I want, what is it that I have achieved today. I did lots of things. I wasn't even aware of that, but in that moment that I take the time to think about how much I did or what I did, it becomes very clear, looking forward to what I do want to do the next day. And I think similar to you, just a few things on the list that I know I'm going to get through. I can always add more to it. One thing that I like to do with time is that I make sure I spend some time. I am in the fortunate position of being in an office in my own home, and I have a garden around my house, so I can step outside of my office and I can make the time to walk around in the garden or even walk around the house as an exercise if I wish to, if I didn't get to do a proper exercise in the morning. So those are things that are helpful, but we have to focus on, and that is the mind. I agree with everyone who mentioned that. You have to set your mind to want to do that and then do it, and replace a habit of not doing it with a habit of doing it. The biggest thing that helps me in those things of creating a new habit is thinking about what it will do for me, how wonderful it is to do so. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning to be in this expo and take this wonderful exhibitors like you, ladies and gentlemen, through insights that you are sharing freely amongst each other and for our visitors. That gets me to get up at that time, make that time, and get through the day. I thank you all for your input on this insight exchange around I don't have time and how we've explored that. Thank you, everyone.